Health is vital to freedom. Without it is a life of compromise. The life I've lived since I was 13. Expression without movement.
Alright, so today's Christmas. Guess who we're listening to? Mozart, because there's no copyright restrictions. Therefore, all the more giving that I can be able to bless you with. Today is such a fascinating day in so many ways, but just so few. And I want to lay the underlying surface for why all of that is. I mean, I don't know if you can see any of this, but look, I just happen to be wearing my shirt from Shinsengumi. It's the restaurant that I used to work at a year and a half ago. I quit back in May of last year, 2017, and it's 2018, a year and a half ago. I used to be working here. It completely blows my mind to think about it, because that was right after I had quit college. I literally dropped out of college, dropped this job 2 weeks later, moved out, and got a completely new job as a car salesman. And everything changed from that point on. My life made a drastic switch. The transition was, I took control of my own mind and my own emotions. And that completely changed the way I perceived, the way I thought things were, and what I did to create them. And it really transformed my life. Everything after that point, I began to grow as a person. Now, of course, there was a lot of vulnerability in that struggle. I had to transition from being completely wasted to being able to grow into this adaptation of doing everything that I was afraid of. And that was an extreme struggle, which was totally worthwhile. And more than struggle, it was like I was extremely hungry and I was struggling for growth, wanting growth, and that's all I wanted. And eventually I got to a point where I could be able to heal myself and focus on what actually mattered. And I started striving in purpose after the hunger kind of died out. And when that began to happen, that was about 6 months in from when I had first separated from everything and got myself back on track. A whole 6 months of hunger. Here comes 2018. 2018 came into the picture. I was losing my hunger for the next 3 months, but I was still trying new things, and it was more so in process those next 3 months. And then after those 3 months in March, moving on to April, May, I kind of got comfortable. And things started to switch and change, and I started to do mediocre amounts, and I got bored. And I stopped doing completely new things. My innovation was gone. My creativity was gone. I was within the system, gone. So the following 6 months from there, moving April, May, June, July, August, September comes along. I start discovering cool things about me, like, oh wow, so I have a gift for martial arts, and okay, so all the way throughout that process, I'm learning things about my body and how I can move and who I really am. And that completely shifted everything for me, because I began to get self-awareness. Instead of just focusing on hustling and working and developing myself with all this personal development and self-development information that helps you grow as a person, but not necessarily with character. That's what I was focused on. And then I got off the rails after a year of that, right? And started focusing on personal awareness, self-awareness. And self-awareness, my friends, is what gives you all the answers. You no longer have to do personal development because you stopped patching up all the holes and you started cleansing them. You get me? So that's when everything starts to move and groove with your own speed, with your own oil. You just put it on, and you're ready, you're set, you're golden. So that's what I've been doing for the past few months now, couple months. Ever since September, I made a complete transitional change in October 31st. I stopped doing sales for marketing and branding, and I stopped neglecting myself, and I started to open myself up. And I did this with the entire world. I said my worst pain, my worst problem, and what I need to do about it to be able to solve my health. And that would be to have surgery to remove my testicle. And that way I will be able to heal. And through being able to go through medical processes just to be able to recover, I don't know what's going to happen. So the only real way to go about this whole thing is to make the money for it. And I've been doing that and practicing dance to free up my body and kind of loosen myself up, because if I stay tight, my whole spine will collapse on me and that'll ruin me. So I can't do that. You can see how my back is all leaned forward and I'm sitting like this. It's not very comfortable. I would much rather sit back like that, but I can't hold that posture without pain somewhere. Like, I have to tweak my back really bad. So the solution is to fix my spine, and the real solution is to fix the surgery that was done wrong 7 years ago, which was on my testicle. So I got to go back and revisit that and fix it and then move on. So there's this whole process of my life moving up to this point. And then what I value more than anything is my health, because if I don't have my health, I don't have the longevity to do anything, and I have no freedom therefore. So what I've been fixating my mind on for this past day or two or week or whatever is, what do I do now that I've been fired, right? It's totally thrown me off the track. It's made me distraught, and I'm not too sure where to go. But the decision was on Thanksgiving 11/22, a month ago now, to give myself all of me to dance and follow my passion, my calling, and everything. Just like 10/24 when I decided to pursue dance. But that was the public announcement on 11/22. So I'm going to give all of me and go and pursue a regular job and make the money for my health. And basically, I put a stop hold on entrepreneurship. I can't pursue that when I cannot keep my boat afloat. That's what I decided on. If you can't keep your boat afloat because there's holes in it and it's being filled up with water, and you also have to lift your sail, you cannot lift the sail and get to your destination without sinking. So you must patch your holes first before you lift the sail to proceed on to your destination. I keep doing the latter, so that's where I came to that decision. I need to patch the holes first before I continue moving. Very simple, right? And then you go. You have nothing holding you back. Sometimes you just have to hit a reset. It's like, same example, you have a basket of apples. They happen to tip over and they all fall out, right? But when you pick an apple up, you put it in the basket, it falls back out again. You have to get the basket upright before you can keep picking up all these bruised apples, these damaged goods that just keep getting worse, right? So, same thing, same situation, same resolution. All I need to do is make some money to be able to do that. And I need to stop thinking so long term, because long term, I'm not moving anywhere when I'm struggling just to keep myself up, the basics, right? So what I need to do is I need to make some money. I need to be able to solve my health. And once I do that, I can be able to move on to the next step, which would be pursuing whatever I want. Now, hopefully the freedom or free time that I do have is used so that I can be able to lift myself up and not be patched down. Because if I get patched down, then that would be kind of the last thing I want, because the room for progress is very minimal or slow. And I don't know if I'm fully taking this time as best I can if I'm not fully progressing, full force moving forward. So all I need to do, the only thing I need, the only thing I'm focused on, the only thing I want, the only thing that success means to me on this Christmas, because today happens to be December 25th, 2018, 10:48 p.m., I need to resolve my health problems. And once I get that done, I don't have anything stopping me. Do you understand? As far as I know, I'm clear here. I'm clear here. I'm clear here. But here, I'm not. And that jeopardizes everything. So if I can get that intact, I will be golden. But I do not have much time. That should be the only focus. If you fail this mission, then you cannot move on to do anything else. You cannot trust that you can, so you have to do it as fast as you can. Because it's the only way. Should not be playing long-term game right now. So what you're going to do for the rest of this year is you're going to pack up all your things. You're going to make all your videos. You're going to get all your content ready. Because you're not going to be focusing on that like you were before. Maybe you can get out the videos at present, but all the extra stuff is going to be really hard. So what you've got to focus on doing, once again, is just making that money. Lightly scraping the surface. Not quite digging as deep as you can yet. To then be able to pour over the cement foundation so that you can lay your house. You can always dig up for gold there later or somewhere else. But you have to make sure that you slowly scrape enough of that so you get all the gold underneath your place. Then you'll be ready to move on to new ways, okay? So, I need the right foundation. But I also need to get out all the valuables and everything that I need before I can move on. It's very obvious what I need to do. And there are some ways that I can be able to make money. The ways that are listed are very limited or unlimited. Either way, the answer and the result is stop thinking long term and get a regular job with the safety in the short term so that you can resolve your health and proceed in the long term. Because if you do not have that and you're having high, unexecutable, unimaginable, dream-like aspirations that aren't possible, when your ship is not sailing to where you need it to be, you will sink. So, Superman, you gonna fly too high or you gonna fly too low? There's only one way to go. And if you don't take this next year seriously, it will cripple you. And then you only have one way to go. So, let's go this way, okay? Up, but even, balanced. You cannot go here right now. And you should not go here right now. Alright, protect yourself. Today has been a very wild day. And in part, I don't even want to talk about it. But the conversations that I have at family get-togethers, times like this, I just ask to speak with my father. And we have a conversation. A conversation that goes back and forth and ends in me walking away. You understand? Thank you for listening today. I'm going to take off this Shinsengumi shirt because this only brings back memories to when I had nothing and knew nothing, was nothing. And now I have nothing. I know everything. And I am wanting to be something. Isn't that great? And you don't lose yourself. You don't lose your health and everything else. That's what matters at the end of the day, right? I'm so glad I could share this with you. If you're living in truth, then you're doing the right thing. Because anything less is not identity to you. And you want to be fruitful in all your ways. How you declare faith, be strong and stay at the top. Because you know that you ought to be loved. Peace. From how much I've been through,
It's got. I'd rather be understood, but I can't do it on my own. I need your help. Will you please help me?